Hello guys, Sinister Scrafty here. Today we're going to talk about the 3 Pokemon whose buffs were not enough in the transition from Gen 3 OU to Gen 4 OU. Well, just Gen 4 in general, because, spoiler alert, none of these Pokemon actually remain in OU. So, number 3 is actually going to be Tauros. Now let's look at Tauros. Very fast, hits hard, has good physical bulk, especially with Intimidate. You must be thinking, wow, this is a great Pokemon. And it was. It was UUBL in Gen 3 OU, solid. It's not really seen very often. But hey, it can be scary in the right hands, but on the right kind of team. Now, what kind of challenges did it face in Gen 3 OU? Well, it was pretty bad into Skarmory. It didn't really like that Sandstorm was everywhere. Especially if you're riding Choice Band, because it's getting worn down every time, you don't click the right button, or, even when you do, something like Skarmory can really stop you in your tracks. Metagross, Tyranitar, Swampert, those kinds of cores, Salamence, being susceptible to being intimidated, that kind of thing, it hates that. So, what did it get in Gen 4 OU to help overcome these issues, maybe? Let's see here. Life Orb. Wow, that's a great move. It makes you a lot stronger, right? It has Physical Pursuit. Wow, that's a dream for Tauros. It really is. It wished it had that in Gen 3 OU. If it did, it might be a very different story. You know what I'm saying? Stone Edge. Oh, that's a fantastic rock stat. It's very strong, 100 base power, high crit chance. It misses sometimes, but who cares? Yeah. So it got a lot this generation. You know what I'm saying? It enjoyed having. It even ran Choice Scarf sometimes. Sky's the limit, I guess, with Tauros, right? Well, actually, no, because it's an NU. And why is it an NU? Well, you know how it didn't like its environment in Gen 3 OU? Well, Gen 4 OU is even worse, right? Sand is still everywhere. Okay, Toxic Spikes. Wow, it's really susceptible to that. Stealth Rock. It takes neutral damage. Spikes. It is grounded. So you know what I'm saying? Switching in Tauros is a humongous commitment. And it really doesn't enjoy that, because every turn counts when it comes to Tauros, and it's just not worth your time, frankly. Number 2 is going to be Charizard. This one's a bit infamous, and don't be mistaken. It does say Charizard is NU, but Charizard is disgusting in this tier. It is really, really good. What happened? Well, we all know that Stealth Rock happened, right? But, you also got to think about, well, Sand is still around. Well, Tyranitar is still around, giving the Sky trouble. He has a hard time breaking through things like Milotic, Kingdra, Suicune, Gyarados. Oh my gosh. It faces adversity in just about every corner. Heatran just kind of sits in your face all day, unless you try to hit it with Focus Blast. But, anywho, yeah, very adverse. Stealth Rock ruins this Pokemon. It's just not worth your effort. What did it get? Well, it enjoyed Life Orb. It also enjoyed Focus Blast. Air Slash is a much better stab than it had before. Hidden Power Flying has a flinch chance, and it's on the special side, which, that's Charizard's best stat, so that's what you want to be using. And Roost, wow, Charizard got so many things in this generation, but it just cannot take advantage of it. It just cannot. It is way crippled by Stealth Rock, and let's be honest, even if Stealth Rock wasn't around, it probably still would not be OU, It got Sword Stance too, that's another thing. This guy, he got it all. Thunder Punch, like, wow, that would answer Dragon Dance Gyarados if you do like a scarf set. And I'm saying, like, you can get pretty creative, but unfortunately, you're just really, really limited. And number one is going to be Medicham. Medicham was a UBL Gen 3. But honestly, man, Medicham is pretty good in Gen 3. Oh, yeah. I think it could be OU ranked. It's kind of a fringe option because you have things like Heracross and Hariyama. But I'd say after those two, Breloom, then fourth would be Medicham, in my opinion, as the fourth best fighting type in the tier. It hit really hard. It had a reasonable speed tier, so it threatened Skarmory with huge focus punches. Lucy, Tyranitar. I mean, you can punch a hole into anything. Flygon, Tweet, anything really. Just if you get a good focus punch read or you hit them with a choice fan hit, like it won't really sting them. So what happened between Gen 3 OU and Gen 4? Well, let's look at what he got. He got a stronger high jump kick. It used to be 85 base power, okay? Now it's 100 base power. Wow, that's really great. Physical psychic stab? Let's go. That's really exciting. All right. Physical elemental punches? Are you kidding me? This is a dream come true for Medicham. Bullet punch? I mean, it just keeps going on. And Life Orb to even further increase its damage potential. Choice Scarf. Wow. It would have loved a Choice Scarf in Gen 3. Its speed is incredibly middling, but you can make it go from middling to legitimately good. Legitimately fast. It's dangerous, it's scary, it can be a disgusting late game cleaner. But we've all heard the word power creep before, my friends. And that's exactly what happened to Medicham. Because even with all of these buffs and all of these tools it received, it still cannot keep up. Passive damage, again, destroys Medicham, especially if it's using its Life Orb set. Like, it really just tears through its HP. Will-O-Wisp is flying around everywhere. Rotom, Gengar, Fire type, Heatran. So that also affects Tauros too, on why he can't be consistent. And this is why Medicham can't be consistent. They don't have any value as lead. They have terrible matchups into the most common lead Pokemon: Machamp, Aerodactyl, T-Tar, Hippowdon. Like, even the things you don't see as great, or see as often, they're not great into those things. So it's like, man, there's like no niche for them there at all either. They get clapped by the late game sweepers that you see all the time. Dragon Dance Gyarados, Dragon Dance Tyranitar, Dragon Dance Dragonite, Choice Band Weavile, Life Orb Lucario, Swords Dance Lucario. Like, these types of things, wow, they just get murked. They stand no chance. Like, with Scarf Medicham, you can answer Gyarados, but then like Life Orb or Swords Dance Lucario, like if it gets set up, bam, extreme speed. You can't do anything about it. So they just couldn't keep up. Things became much better than them. Charizard, Heatran came around. Dude, Heatran is like the ideal fire type. Charizard cannot hold a candle to that. You know what I'm saying? Tauros, like, normal in general is just not good in Gen 4. And the only exception to that is Clefable because of Magikarp. You have Snorlax and Togekiss, but let's be real. They're not that great. You know what I'm saying? And it's largely due to their normal typing. So you don't want to be a normal type in this metagame. Like, you really, really don't. But yeah, guys, that should be about it on the 3 biggest losers.